Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Ulysses does Minecraft. Welcome back. So today we're going to be doing a lesson on imaginary numbers. You might be asking yourself, what's an imaginary number? Well, we're about to find out. An imaginary number is a square root of any negative number, such as square root of -1, -2, -3, so on. You're also going to need to know what a conjugate pair is. It's a pair of expressions in which one is a sum and one is the difference of the same terms. For example, a plus bi and a minus bi. The only difference of the two pairs is the sign. It's a plus, it's a minus. You're going to learn what the I means in just a little. The rules of square root of -1. So, the square root of -1 is an imaginary number. Why? Because nothing can multiply itself to get to -1. 1 times 1 equals 1. The -1 times -1 equals 1 as well. Nothing can multiply to get to -1. So a special symbol, I, is given for the square root of -1. And we're going to go down the list through the exponential growth of I. So to start off, the square root of -1 is I. I to the second is just 2. Square root of -1 to the second power, basically. And what this will do is cancel out the square and the square root to just leave the -1. So I squared equals -1. I to the third now. That's just going to lay out 3 square root of -1. Basically, the first two will cancel out, just like the I to the second. It's going to be -1 times the square root of -1. So what that will do is simplify it to be -1 times I, because I equals the square root of -1. And that'll just simplify down to I. And finally, I to the fourth is square root of -1 4 times. And if it's basically like square root of I to the second power, actually, my bad. Because first two terms will cancel out and it'll just be -1. And the other third and fourth terms will also cancel out down to -1. So -1 times -1 equals 1. So, little example question, I to the 200th power. What you want to do is, I think of it like this. You basically do a pair, and it's going to be 100 pairs of 2. And what that'll do is cancel out all the pairs. Will cancel out to just being to 1, because it'll go down to -1 times -1, and that'll just go to 1. So 1 times itself 100 times is always going to be 1. And to switch it up, square root of -16, it can basically be done for any number. 16 is just a perfect square, so I just wanted to use that one. Basically, you want to get out the negative sign out of the square root of 16. So we can find out square root of -1, basically. You're going to remove that from that. So it'll just basically end up being square root of -1 times square root of 16, which can simplify down to 4 times I. And on the right here, we made a little circle. Basically, just the 4 different outcomes for the I. First is I just by itself, which is square root of -1. I to the second, which is -1. I to the third, just I, which is square root of -1. And finally, is I to the fourth equals 1. Basically, there's going to be no other type of answers, so it's only up to 4. So let's go on to some example problems. I'm sure you're a smart cookie by now and you can find out how to do some of these distributive problems because you're such a great person. So for the first problem, you're going to have 3 minus I on brackets, parentheses, my bad, parentheses 4 plus 3I, parentheses 5 minus 2I, parentheses. And all you gotta do is just distribute, nothing different. It's just the I. So what we're going to want to do is shut out the 5 minus 2I, isolate that just like I am isolated socially from the entire world. And you're just going to take the two expressions and distribute. 3 to the 4 and the 3i, and then the negative I to the 4 and the 3i. And what that'll do is distribute to 12 plus 9i minus 4i minus 3i to the second. And what you want to do is combine like terms, 9i minus 4i, and simplify the 3i to the second. That's all going to break down to 15 plus 5i. And once you've done that, you're going to want to distribute the 5 minus 2i, the one that you isolated, to finish off the problem. That's going to go down to 75 plus 25i minus 30i minus 10i to the second. You're going to ask yourself, what does that equal? Well, if you are a smart cookie, you'll have gotten it. And the answer is 85 minus I. You can do GCF, which is going to be 5, and that's going to come down to 15 minus I. Now, for the second example problem, 1 plus 8i over negative 2 minus I. Yeah, couldn't get that just there. So, bear with me. What you want to do for fractions with imaginary numbers is multiply the numerator and denominator by the conjugate of the denominator. So here, the denominator is minus negative 2 minus I. And the conjugate pair, if you can remember, is just the opposite sign. So it's going to be plus. You don't change the negative 2 or anything. You're a smart cookie after all, aren't you? So you're going to multiply across, basically. And what that'll get you for the top row, for the numerators, it's going to be minus 2 plus I, minus 16I, minus 8, all over 8. And you want to combine like terms. That'll go down to negative 10 minus 15I over 5. And you can just divide. And as being such a smart, elegant person as you are, you obviously would have gotten negative 2 minus 3I. Good job, I'm proud of you. Now try it on your own. For the first one, you're just going to want to distribute. Nothing much different, a little bit more work. If you want to pause the video, I'll leave you to do that now. So, I'm sure that because you're such a smart person and I have much faith in you, you will have gotten it right. And the answer key is right here as well. The answer is 18 minus 22i. Now, for the second problem, you're going to want to simplify and distribute. We've done this example problem before a little bit, so you should be able to get it. It's straightforward. If you want to pause the video, work on it, I'll give you time now. So yeah, hopefully you would have gotten it. The answer is negative 60 minus 36i. And yeah, hopefully you would have been 2 for 2 for these. This will conclude our lesson. If you want to subscribe for more videos, I'll be down for that. I'm always down for tutoring. You want to check out my YouTube channel. I've done workout videos before too to make you be the most fit person of your life. Contact me, Ulysses3010 at gmail.com or 414-559-3054. Thank you. Have a nice day, afternoon, evening, and night. Thanks.